Welcome to the Immigrant in Law channel. If you are planning to move to the European Union and want not just to change your country, but to really change your standard of living, this video is for you. Today we are going to find out what the Migration Career Elevator is, where it works, in which EU countries it really lifts foreigners up, and under what conditions it is launched. It is an informal but accurate term that describes a system of built-in opportunities for professional, social, and legal growth of a migrant in the host country. When you move to a European Union country, and your migration is not just about physical relocation and survival, but becomes a tool for development, you enter the system of the Migration Career Elevator. It starts working if several key conditions are met. You are legally employed, not through the shadow market, but officially with a contract, social contributions, and taxes. Your experience and education are recognized. The state or employer takes into account your diploma, qualifications, experience, and skills, even if they are obtained outside the EU. You have the opportunity for career advancement. You are not locked into one position, but can move up within the company, change employers, and explore new areas. Migration legislation allows you to legalize for a long time, from temporary residence permit to permanent residence permit, and then to citizenship without discriminatory barriers. All these elements form a vertical of opportunities. In such a system, a migrant is not an eternally temporary guest, but a full-fledged participant in society who can earn more, change professional sphere, open a business, get access to social protection, loans, education, and eventually become a citizen of the country. This is the Migration Career Elevator, a mechanism that makes it possible not to get stuck at the level of low-skilled or rough work, but to move upwards in all key indicators of life, income, rights, stability, and personal perspective. This approach is not possible everywhere. In some countries, the elevator is there, but it does not work. In others, it does not exist as a class, and there are those where it functions in a stable and predictable way. And these are the countries you should consider if you are planning to migrate seriously, not for survival. Let us consider the countries where the career elevator does not just exist formally, but actually helps migrants to grow. Germany is one of the key centers of labor migration in the European Union, and the most structured country in terms of migration career elevators. From 2024, a large-scale reform of migration legislation came into force here, which aims to simplify the recruitment of foreign specialists and remove bureaucratic barriers to integration. As part of this reform, the following mechanisms have been introduced and updated. Chancenkarte, a new form of point system or opportunity card, which allows foreigners to come to Germany even without a pre-signed contract. It is enough to get the required number of points for education, experience, language skills, age, etc. This gives the opportunity to look for a job on the spot without violating the migration regime. EU Blue Card, a special type of residence permit for highly skilled workers. It allows you to enter under a signed contract, receive a high salary, and in a simplified procedure to apply for permanent residence. Simplified recognition of foreign diplomas and qualifications. Now, most applications for the evaluation of education are processed faster, and formal requirements have become less stringent. This is especially relevant for medical, engineering, and IT professions. Shortened time to permanent residence. Blue Card holders can move to a permanent residence permit after 33 months, and with B1 language skills after 21 months. This is one of the fastest paths to permanent residence in the EU. A key advantage of Germany is the state's interest in the integration of foreign specialists, especially in the context of demographic labor shortage. Today, the country has an acute shortage of doctors, engineers, programmers, technicians, logisticians, and skilled laborers. If you have a relevant profession and experience, you can start as a rank-and-file specialist, quickly prove your competence, and in 2-3 years move up to a managerial position. In German companies, career growth depends on results, not on citizenship or origin. Moreover, many employers are ready to support training, pay for German language courses, and execute permanent residence documents for their employees. The career elevator system in Germany works not on paper, but in practice consistently, structurally, and transparently. That is why Germany remains a priority destination for those who are looking not just for legalization, but for a full-fledged professional realization and a long-term perspective in the EU. Slovenia is one of the few countries in the European Union where the career migration elevator works not only through labor migration, but also through citizenship restoration. This unique feature makes the country particularly attractive for those who want to quickly and legally integrate into the EU labor market with a full-fledged status. The options for launching the career elevator here are two. Through repatriation by origin. If you have Slovenian roots, for example, your ancestors in the direct ascending line, parents, grandparents, were born in Slovenia or had Yugoslavian citizenship before June 25, 1991, you can apply for Slovenian citizenship in a simplified procedure. According to Article 12 of the Citizenship of the Republic of Slovenia Act, you do not need to reside in the country, take language examinations, or undergo naturalization. The application is submitted on the basis of documented ancestry. You must provide official proof of Slovenian roots, such as birth certificates, metrics, archival certificates, and other sources confirming that your ancestors belong to the Slovenian nation. This has a significant advantage. You do not go through the stages of temporary residence permit and permanent residence permit, but immediately become a citizen of an EU country. Accordingly, you get unlimited access to the labor market of all EU countries. You sign contracts without quotas and permits. You have the right to social guarantees, loans, medicine, education. You start from a high status, bypassing bureaucratic barriers. Thus, repatriation is not just citizenship by roots, but an accelerated launch of the career elevator, where you immediately find yourself on the top step. Through business immigration. For those who do not have Slovenian origin, a career elevator in Slovenia is possible through starting and running a business. The country maintains relatively loyal conditions for foreign entrepreneurs. If you register a company and meet the minimum requirements such as turnover, activity, employment, you can obtain a residence permit on a business basis. Advantages of this way. You determine your own development trajectory, create jobs, scale your business, develop services. After 5 years of continuous residence with a valid residence permit, you have the right to apply for permanent residence and then citizenship. Activities in the EU become fully legal and transparent, from contracts to banking operations. It is important to understand Slovenia is a country with a developed business environment, geographically convenient location, and good access to the markets of Austria, Italy, Croatia, and Hungary. This makes it an attractive platform to build a career as an entrepreneur, as well as a manager in your own company. Thus, Slovenia provides a dual mechanism of career elevator. For some through repatriation and instant entry into the status of a citizen, for others through independent business and gradual growth, from a resident to a full-fledged participant of the EU economic system. Both ways work in practice are legal and give the migrant not just a residence permit, but a tool for growth and development in the long term. Ireland is a kind of safe haven of the European Union, combining stability, a fast-growing economy, and a well-defined system of attracting foreign specialists. Despite its relatively small territory, the country has one of the highest rates of economic growth in the EU, especially in technology, pharmaceuticals, finance, and services for global corporations. For career-oriented migrants, there is a very concrete and working career elevator here based on the following. Work permit, a work permit for foreign professionals. It is issued if there is an offer from an Irish employer, usually in qualified industries: IT, engineering, finance, healthcare, biotechnology. Stamp 4 is a status similar to a permanent residence permit. It can be obtained after 2 years of work in a critical profession or after 5 years of residence. Stamp 4 gives the right to freely change employers, open a business, and enjoy social rights on a par with citizens. Naturalization after 5 years. Ireland offers one of the shortest timeframes to citizenship among EU countries. With continuous residence and compliance with migration conditions, filing is possible as early as the 6th year. Most importantly, Ireland is one of the few EU countries where international companies play a central role in the integration of migrants. Corporations such as Google, Meta, Apple, Microsoft, Intel, and Pfizer actively recruit professionals from all over the world, including those who come on work permit. The model often looks like this. You get a job as a specialist in a large multinational company. After 2-3 years with results and language adaptation, you move to middle management positions. Then there are 2 possible paths, either moving up the corporate ladder or starting your own business using your existing contacts and market knowledge. The level of English is critical here. Without a strong command of the language, career growth will be limited. However, with professional skills and the ability to adapt quickly, the Irish system is really open and encourages the promotion of foreigners. An additional plus is the flexible tax system for new residents, developed infrastructure for business, and comfortable English-speaking environment, which makes Ireland especially attractive for professionals from third countries. Thus, Ireland is an example of a state where a career elevator for migrants does not just exist, but is actively stimulated at the level of public policy and the private sector. The Netherlands is one of the most technologically advanced and economically developed countries in the European Union, with a clear focus on attracting highly skilled migrants. The state policy in the field of labor migration here is built around the idea that a foreign specialist is not a threat, but a resource for economic growth. The mechanisms that ensure the operation of the career elevator in the Netherlands include highly skilled migrant visa, a special type of residence permit which gives the right to work under a contract in a Dutch company. The main advantage of this visa is flexibility. You can change employers without losing your status, provided that the new employer is also accredited with the IND, Immigration and Naturalization Service. The tax credit for new residents is 30% rule. For the first 5 years, you can receive up to 30% of your salary tax-free, which significantly increases your net income. This benefit applies specifically to highly qualified workers invited from abroad. Accelerated path to permanent residence. After 5 years of legal residence and work, you can obtain a permanent residence permit and further citizenship if the standard conditions are met: integration exam, no irregularities, etc. The career elevator in the Netherlands is particularly noticeable in such sectors as information technology, programming, data analytics, cybersecurity, engineering and R&D, development, automation, mechanical engineering, financial and consulting services, agribusiness, and biotechnology. The country is the EU leader in agricultural exports. exports. The key feature of the Dutch model is the mutual motivation of the employer and the state. The higher the qualification of the invited specialist, the more financial and administrative advantages the employer receives. This incentivizes companies not just to hire foreign workers, but to invest in their growth and integration, to pay for training, promote their positions, extend their contracts, and obtain permanent residence permits. In addition, the Netherlands has a well-developed internal mobility system. You can easily move between regions and sectors without losing your legal status. This means that you are not tied to one city or employer, but build your career depending on your goals and opportunities. A high standard of living, English-speaking working environment, especially in large companies, clear administrative procedures. All this makes the Netherlands one of the most comfortable and predictable EU countries for career migration. Thus, the Netherlands does not just allow the growth of migrants, it stimulates it at the institutional level, turning a foreign specialist into a part of a sustainable model of economic development. The Czech Republic has traditionally been perceived as a country for industrial or technical employment, but in recent years it has seriously changed its approach to skilled migration. Since 2023, the country has simplified procedures for obtaining a residence permit and shortened the time frame for transition to permanent residence for in-demand specialists. The state frankly states about the shortage of personnel in key industries and relies on external attraction of skilled workers. If you have higher education, especially in the technical, engineering or IT field, a contract with a Czech employer, willingness to learn the Czech language, you can not only get a work visa and residence permit, but also within 2-3 years grow to a management position, especially in such sectors as mechanical engineering and industrial automation, construction and logistics, IT and cybersecurity, pharmaceuticals, and biotechnology. Recognition of foreign diplomas in the Czech Republic has become more formalized and faster. This is especially true for EU and post-Soviet graduates. Migration authorities work with electronic applications, and key companies receive quotas for accelerated registration of specialists. In addition, the Czech Republic offers a clear path of transition from temporary residence permit for 2 years to permanent residence after 5 years of residence, and then to citizenship upon passing a language exam and meeting standard conditions. Thanks to steady economic growth, relative affordability of housing, and a low entry threshold for migrants, the Czech Republic is becoming one of the most predictable countries in Central Europe for career advancement within the EU. The career elevator really works here. If you are competent and legally in the system, you will be promoted. And this is confirmed not in words but in practice, through the personnel policy of the real sector of the economy. In all countries where the career migration elevator really works, we can identify 3 mandatory features, without which the system does not start. Transparent rules. Legislation must be clear and predictable. Clear grounds for entry, deadlines for processing applications, clear requirements for documents, without gray zones, arbitrariness, and constant changes of rules retroactively. This is the kind of system that gives you confidence that you are building a strategic path rather than a temporary solution. Recognition of qualifications. Your education, degrees, certificates, and professional experience should be legally recognized and practically applicable. That is, you have the ability to work in your profession rather than starting from scratch because of formal barriers. A good migration system involves either automatic recognition of qualifications or a simplified nostrification procedure, possibility to move from temporary to permanent status. A career elevator does not work if a migrant remains permanently in limbo. Real, not formal systems provide for a step-by-step transition. Residence permit, permanent residence permit, citizenship with clear timelines, criteria, and the possibility to extend or change status without loss of legality. If at least one of these elements is missing, the migration system becomes a vicious circle. You can get a visa or a work permit, but you will be limited in your choice of profession. You will be stuck in low-paid positions without prospects. You will not be able to change employers without the risk of losing your status, and you will remain in the status of temporary resident for an indefinite period of time. That is why, when choosing a country to move to, it is important to look not only at the level of salaries or the popularity of the destination, but at the extent to which the system as a whole allows you to move forward professionally, financially, and legally. Before choosing a country and a relocation route, it is important to honestly assess your goals and capabilities. Ask yourself 3 key questions. Do I have a profession, skills, or experience that are in real demand in EU countries? It is not necessarily about a diploma. Sometimes practical experience is more valuable than formal education, especially in IT, engineering, medicine, logistics, manufacturing. It is important to understand whether you can be competitive in the European labor system. Am I ready to learn the language and, if necessary, to complete or confirm my qualifications? Even if the chosen country has an English-speaking environment, knowledge of the national language sooner or later becomes mandatory to obtain a residence permit, communicate with government agencies, or move to managerial positions. In countries with nostrification of diplomas, requalification may be required, and readiness for this often determines your growth potential. What is more important for me? Just a stable legal income or a full-fledged status, permanent residence, and then citizenship? If you consider migration as a strategic step for 5-10 years ahead, and not as a temporary job abroad, the career elevator will give you the maximum return. It is designed for those who want to fit into the system, not stay on the periphery. If you answer yes to at least 2 of the 3 questions, then you have all the prerequisites to use the EU career elevator. The rest is a matter of choosing the right country trajectory, and professional training. Career Migration Elevator is not a theory or a beautiful metaphor. It is a real working mechanism in a number of European Union countries where migrants are given not just the right to stay, but the opportunity to grow, develop, and integrate on an equal footing with locals. Germany, Slovenia, Ireland, the Netherlands, and the Czech Republic are examples of countries where the system is designed so that if you fulfill reasonable conditions, you can move up. But the key thing here is the choice of strategy. It is important not just to leave, but to understand why you're doing this and where you want to go in 5-10 years. The career elevator works only for those who are ready to invest themselves in the movement to learn, to adapt, to act within the law. If you want to move for the sake of prospects and not for the sake of survival, if not only salary but also status, security, freedom of movement are important for you, if you are not looking for a temporary solution but for a new foothold in the EU, then the Career Migration Elevator is a tool worth using. And if you are just planning to immigrate, leave a request for a free consultation with immigrant-in-law lawyers. We will choose the best relocation strategy for you, prepare all the necessary documents, explain in detail the nuances of the law, and answer all your questions. We will analyze your case, your goals, your situation without templates. Want to learn more or start the process today? Contact us. All contacts are listed in the description below this video. We're here to help you take a confident step towards a new life. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and ask your questions in the comments. I will be happy to answer them. Discover the world of opportunities with Immigrant-in-Law.